to join. Connecting. Here we go. Okay, people are starting to join. Hello, everybody. We got some people in the waiting room. People are starting to join in. I see Sandra, I see Cathie. Yes, Vera, how are you? Hi, everybody. Miriam, Linda, Sharon. Hi, guys. Welcome. We're going to talk a little bit, a couple minutes just to let everybody load on right now. I'm Steve Piacenza and Cathie Fillion is here with us too. This is going to be our fourth Michael's Zoom class. Today, we are going to be teaching how to use photo transfer. How many of you have used photo transfer before? Can I see hands? Yeah, no one? Okay, this is interesting stuff. You guys are going to enjoy this. This is taking personal pictures, making laser copies with them, and being able to transfer them onto everything from fabric to tin to wood to glass to acrylic. So it's really interesting stuff. And this is a great class to show photo transfer because it's kind of a confusing one verbally. But when you see, Cathie's going to show you how to do the photo transfer. Once you visually see it, you're going to understand it. And you're going to see the difference between Mod Podging and decoupaging stuff and using photo transfer. Just to let you guys know, we are going to be doing a random giveaway at the end of this class. This class is going to be, we're guessing, approximately an hour, maybe a little bit longer. So make sure that you comment in the chats, even just to say hello, where you're from, because we are going to do a random, random pick. Again, you guys loading on right now? Yeah, we got a lot more people coming on. Great. Zoe, Diane, Misha, Stephanie, working with photo transfer today, guys. Let me show you really quick. This is the project that we're going to be doing. So this is just on a piece of wood. So this was a photo, and we laser copied it, and we put it onto a piece of wood. Cathie's also going to show how to do onto a tote bag. You can do tote bags, you can do t-shirts, you can do onesies, you can do all sorts of fabrics, tin, glass, all sorts of things. So these are the two projects that we're going to be showing today. And I just want to show you really quickly, you can do black and white or colored copy photos. Here are some images that we have taken just to show you. These are laser printed. You cannot use inkjet for this project because the inkjet is wet. The laser is not, so this is where the photo transfer comes in. So any type of personal picture that you might have, there's Cathie and Eddie. There's her wedding picture. So black and white or color work for this project, and that's what's interesting about it. Let me show you really quickly one more time before we get started. It's the photo transfer medium. It's in this bottle right here.
Hello?
This is an 8-ounce bottle. And we also have this in a 2-ounce, correct, Cath?
Oh, hold on, let me switch over. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah, so it does come, we have a 2-ounce bottle with a brush or the 8-ounce bottle.
Right.
Hi, guys.
Okay. So one more time, really quickly. Again, here's the two projects. Cathie's gonna show you. We're gonna get started now. Leave a comment in the chat room, guys, for a chance to win a basket of goodies from Plaid, Mod Podge Projects. And also really quickly, let me just get you michaels.com/classes. All of our Zooms have been stored there. So this is our fourth one. If you want to see some of our other classes, you can go to michaels.com.
Can I help with anything? I'm just listening to
/classes. So that's michaels.com/classes for the Zoom class. This one will also be repeating. We'll go through it. Okay, I've talked enough. Photo transfer. Cathie, take it away.
Hi, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. I see lots of questions in here where people are asking, can you use regular Mod Podge for this? This is not regular Mod Podge. So this is the photo transfer formula, and it works completely different than regular Mod Podge. Regular Mod Podge is a glue and a sealer. So if you had a piece of paper and you wanted to glue it down, you would use Mod Podge for that. This is going to create a photo transfer, and it's going to create a different look, more like sort of a vintage look, an old kind of, I'm gonna hold a couple of these up. I'm gonna walk through all these projects, but you can see it's a different effect. So
and that's on canvas.
Actually, we're gonna be putting it on the paper, and then we're gonna be removing the paper, and then magically the image is going to stay onto your project. So it is the photo transfer, comes in the 8-ounce bottle and the smaller bottle too, but it's not regular Mod Podge, okay? That is like the first part that's so confusing. People think, is it regular Mod Podge? No, it's not. So I want to talk about some of the different surfaces and projects that you can do, and we're going to make a project on wood today, and we're going to make a project on canvas today. You can use a wide variety of surfaces. You can do these on staple back canvases like this, like an artist canvas. You can do it on a wood type canvas, you know, any kind of a wood surface that you have. You'll see here that we have, this is just a wood box from Michael's. I even got it on a candle. Now this is a decorative candle. This isn't to light. So there's lots of different things that you can do. This is one of the projects that I'm going to show you how to make, which is just a canvas tote bag. Yes, and you can do it on glass. This is a canvas tote. This is washable once it's done, so that's something that's very different also. Here, this is a picture of my dad and his class from college. So this is fun if you want to do something as a gift. You can take family photos and do something like that. Again, this isn't to light. This is to just be a display candle. You could do this on a flameless candle though, and that would work really well too, like a battery operated one. You can do it on very small pieces and create pendants or magnets, that kind of thing. This is really fun for, you know, like things that are photos of occasions, weddings, anniversaries, that kind of thing. And here we just added sand and shells to the design. And we'll talk about some of that at the end when we're talking about
that right there, the wedding one, was that on canvas or was that on wood?
Oh, this one, sorry for my reach, you guys. This one is wood. But you can use, you know, you can use any surface that you want. You could do the same idea on it. So on fabric or canvases, whatever. This is another one on that same piece of wood. So you can do a half a picture and do painting. You could add words here. You could journal on here and say where you were. We kept it kind of blank just so you could kind of see the jumping off idea. Yes, someone just wrote, great gifts. These make amazing gifts.
People are asking if they could see the bag.
The family photo bag?
Yeah, let's just see both bags.
Yeah, isn't that cute? Now this is, we're not using actual photos. We're using copies of photos, and I'm gonna go into that in great detail for you. And this will work on any surface, ceramics, glass, you know, any surface that you want really, metals. This bag is also really fun, like any images that you want, but these are really cute to give as gifts, you know, to grandparents or parents, moms. If you wanna do something like a monogram, like this bag, this is scrapbook paper that we color copied. So you can use your favorite prints, and yes, Beach Bride, isn't she cute? I love her.
And yes, you can wash these.
Yes, you can wash them. You're not using anything instead of Mod Podge, you're using the Mod Podge photo transfer, okay? The Mod Podge photo transfer. And then here we have the baby feet. And for this one, this is a box where maybe you could keep all of your little, you know, things, the bracelets and the little things that you get from the hospital, and keep it in the box, or baby's first jewelry and teeth and haircut stuff. This one we painted just to look like an old vintage Polaroid like that. So it's really endless ideas, and we just match the silver to go with the kind of tonal of that. So you just look at your picture and you can mix and match your paints accordingly. And then we have this one here. These wood discs like this are so popular right now. So this is one of the ones that we really want to show you today so that you can see how you get the image transferred to wood. That's an irregular surface. And we're going to show you how you transfer your images to canvas. This could be a t-shirt, it could be a pillow. I have made pillows with the same technique for my house. I did it from a blog post once. It's my #1 or probably top 3 blog posts forever, because it's just such a fun project and it's so great for making a gift. So let's talk about our papers. This is a color copy of your image. So you are not going to be using a regular photo. Like if you went and you got your pictures printed, you're not using that. You will have to take your printed photos to a copy center like a Kinko's or a Staples or something like that. And you need to make a color copy or a black and white copy if you want to do something that's more tonal like this. So if you had a color copy, a color picture, you can set it on the machine to say black and white and it will come out more like this. But it does have to be a laser toner copy. So if you own a laser printer at home, you can use that. If you have inkjet, that is not recommended. You cannot use inkjet for this project. It's water-based and it will not transfer properly. So you've got to have a color laser copy of your photograph that you want to use. If you are going to have text in your picture, let's say, let's say this said a word on it or something, a school name, you will need to have it reversed, because this is a reverse process. So anytime that you have words, you're gonna wanna make sure, like if you have a bride and groom's name or something like that, on the copier, you will hit the button for reverse image. And you can always ask a person at your copy center how to do that. It's very, very simple. Yes, you can use a greeting card, someone's asking, but you will have to make a copy of the greeting card.
Anything you guys make, you have to make copies of this with a laser printer. I think people are getting confused. We're getting a lot of questions. This is not Mod Podge. This is called photo transfer. This is not a glue. You cannot use glue also. This is it's under the Mod Podge brand, but it's a completely different medium. It's photo transfer medium made by Mod Podge.
Exactly.
I know it's confusing, but it's not Mod Podge. It's not a glue. You can't use glue. You can't use anything other than this formula. It's a very specific formula called photo transfer.
Yeah. And the paper, when you go to your copy center, you want the thinnest paper possible, because you're going to see that we're actually going to be doing a technique where we're going to be rubbing away the paper. So you do not want to use a thick paper. You want to use the thinnest paper you possibly can. And again, whatever your image is, you're going to take that image to your local copy center and get a laser copy made of it. Okay? And we'll go over that again. Yeah, this is just normal size paper. If you had a bigger project at the copy center, they go up to like 11 by 17 or 14 by 17. And so, you know, you can just get it bigger. Again, just regular lightweight paper, laser copy. So we're going to start with a wood disc like this. And one of the things that you want to do is paint your surface first. So this is just a really cool wood disc. I love how it has this edging here. These are at Michael's. And in the center, we painted it with just plain old acrylic paint. And I like to use a very light color. So white or a creamy, like just a creamy white would be okay, but you want a white or a creamy white. And that way your image will really transfer nicely. If you wanted to, we've done it before where we've left the wood grain there and it creates a different look, but you never know quite what look you're gonna get. So I recommend painting it first. So we've gone ahead and painted this one and let it fully dry. And what you're going to do with your image is your image is going to be going face side down onto your project. So what I like to do is just kind of line it up so I can see and feel. Okay, I'm sort of in there. And again, at your copy center, you can make your image larger or smaller. So make sure, I recommend getting your surface first and then deciding on the size of your print. So if you have an irregular shape like this, I like to lay it on there and then just go in with my fingers and crease that edge. And again, we're putting the image side down. So you want to make sure you're doing this step with the image side down. If you were doing something like a square like this, you would just measure where you want it to be, and then you would cut your paper to size with a ruler or a cutting board. Okay, so now let's hope. Yep, okay, so now I've got my lines. Can you see the little crease in there? So that's just sort of showing me the outside section. So then at this point, I just work a little bit on the inside of it. And I want kind of an organic look. So I kind of cut it, not perfect. I'm sort of adding a little wiggle to it. Oh my goodness, guys, I can barely even see my crease line. Let's see. Oh, I can feel it. There we go. Let's turn it
working backwards.
Yeah.
Yes, guys, it must be laser printer. It cannot be inkjet, water-based. It's got to be a laser. And someone's asking if is it necessary to have laser print only? Yes. The answer is just yes. It doesn't work with the inkjet. I'm sorry. I know not everybody has a laser printer, but there is copying machines always, like a Kinko's or a Staples, all those type of places. In your hometowns, there might be some other different type.
Yeah, even my drugstore
places, it has to be laser. Yeah. So the inkjet, it just doesn't work.
So now I've got it cut out, but I can see that I'm a little bit off here. So you basically just want to go in. Now this is with these organic shapes because these are real slices of wood. So none of them are the same. So every single one is slightly different in shape. You know, again, if you were doing a perfectly square canvas, you would just cut it perfectly square. But I wanted to show you this. Huh?
The wood comes from Michael's.
Yeah. Okay, I think we are good to go. Okay. Yeah, Michael's has tons of surfaces. So this is my painted surface.
She painted that with a white. Are you using chalk or FolkArt, Cath?
Wait a minute, guys. Sorry. Sorry, guys. My phone is.
There we go. There's your forward.
Back up.
Yep, you're back up. Oh, you're off again.
There we go. Is that up?
Not yet.
You see me joining?
I don't see you in the call currently. I think it may have fallen off.
Okay, hold on. We'll be right back, guys.
In the meantime, why don't we go over to me, Stacey, and I can just tell people that are joining, because a lot of different people just joined. You guys, we are working with Photo Transfer Medium. That's this bottle right here. Just to let you guys know, there's a little confusion saying, can we use Mod Podge? Can we use glue? The answer is no. This is made by Plaid, but it's Mod Podge brand, but it's simply photo transfer. This is completely different from any other Mod Podge. So it comes in a 2-ounce bottle and an 8-ounce bottle, and it's called Photo Transfer Medium, just so you guys can see that. This is in the white bottle. And Cathie is making today, she's making this little art piece with a wood background that you can get at Michael's. And we're using laser print. So you can do everything from black and white photos to color photos. You know, all sorts of personal photos work. That's the brilliant thing about this stuff is you can take any favorite photo of yours, family, pets, vacations, trips, and transfer them onto everything from wood to tin to glass to fabric. It's washable. Here's a tote bag that we did, completely washable, and it's a really cool look. The photo transfer is, a lot of people are saying on maybe this one, it's like, well, why wouldn't you just take a picture, color copy it, and Mod Podge it on top, like a decoupage? And the difference is it's a different feel and it's a completely different look. This almost gives it a little bit more of an antique or aged look that you can't get from a normal print or picture. Again, you can do black and white photos, you can do color photos, great on fabric right here. We're gonna be making this today and we're gonna be making this one. So this is the photo transfer medium. Let me see if you guys have any questions, and that's the bottle right here. So you can only use this stuff to do this project. Does the quality of the transfer depend on the surface you use? Not really, because it's the same process. You're up, Cath. Good. Really quickly, the quality is the same almost on any surface. The only thing I would say, if your surface is bumpy, maybe that would change it. But as far as the look goes, you can kind of see on fabric and on wood, they're very, very similar. If there is a small change, it's not much. So the quality is the same. The only thing I would say is if you're working maybe on a bumpier surface or something, but tin, glass, wood, fabric, acrylic, the look is always going to be the same. So let's get back to Cathie. You're up, Cath. Great. And back to you. You're right in the middle. Really quickly, guys, she's using a white acrylic paint on that. That was the last question that we had. She's using the FolkArt brand just in white. And again, you can use any FolkArt paint on these projects to use as a background.
Perfect. Thank you so much, guys. Sorry about that. I don't know what's going on. I have my phone set on do not disturb, but I don't know what happened. So we lost
technology.
Yeah. Okay, so this is, again, like we said, you guys can hear me okay, right? Yeah? Okay. Yes. So this is the photo transfer medium, and you're just going to squirt it onto your paper. This is, again, the laser copy of your photo. Vacation photo, family photo, photos with Santa Claus, whatever you want. And then you're going to put a very thick coat. And what's really, really important is making sure you get those edges. You want to get those edges really, really good. And you want it to be, you do not want to see any of the image coming through. And this is going to create a really cool kind of vintagey vignette look once it's done. And like we said earlier, I'm going to add a little bit more. You can do this on the wood like we're doing here. You can do it on fabric, glass.
Yeah, metal. I'm using wax paper.
Yeah, wax paper.
A lot of wax paper questions.
Yeah. I like wax. I'll show you why in 1 second. Well, I like wax paper because it's cheap.
Yeah. Yes, you guys, this is water-based, so it's easy cleanup with your brushes, soap and water, however you clean your brushes. It's a very easy cleanup.
So you can see how thick that is. You can't see any of my image through there. Now, one thing that's super important is that you want to touch this as minimal as possible, because if you put your fingerprint there and then you can see it, you're not going to get a good transfer there. So someone's asking if you can use foil. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'm answering those questions, Cath.
Okay. I just, wax paper is so much cheaper. So I go in and pick it up very gently like that. Again, you're trying not to touch the edges or the least amount of possible touching them. So then I'm just going to go in and barely grab it on the edges. And then you will flip it right onto your project. And then from there, I'm not pressing super hard, but you don't want to have lumps. So I'm pressing pretty lightly from the center and then out.
You can buy laser printer, guys, at any kind of Best Buy, Staples, all sorts of, what is it, electronic stores have them.
Staple, Office Supply.
Yep, online.
I have a black and white laser printer, but for the color ones, it's about like 60 cents, I think, at Kinko's if you get a copy. And many times, you know what I do is I will layer up more than one picture on there.
Right. Do you have to paint the wood first?
You don't have to, but the wood grain will show through. So you want it to, you know, if you want a real thick, nice image like that, you want to paint that background first. So otherwise you might get basically in the lighter parts of an image. This is a really good example here because this has a lot of light in it. So if I hadn't painted it, a little bit of that wood grain might show through there. So it's a good idea just to go ahead and do that. Now, if you get a little bit of the photo transfer on the edge there, you want to go in with a baby wipe and wipe that away. Whoops, there we go. And remove that, okay? Now at this point, this is the part that everyone hates to hear. I know it, you have to wait 24 hours.
Yeah.
You have to wait a real hard 24 hours. And I'm sorry, I wish there was a way to speed that up, but it is 24 hours, not 22 hours. Everyone jokes, can we do 23 hours? No, 24 hours, guys.
Okay, you guys, this is a matte finish when it's done. It's a matte finish. It is not gloss. So again, this is not Mod Podge. This is called photo transfer, and it's just a matte finish. And no, you do not have to paint the fabric before it goes down.
No, and we'll talk about the fabrics too when we get there, because you do want to use light colored fabrics. You do want to use light colored fabrics. Okay, so this one is just done on the wood. We painted it white first, okay? And then we added shells. We're gonna talk about all the different ways that you can finish this. 26 hours is fine. 36 hours is fine. You just do not want to do this until 24 hours, okay? Because you really need that to cure. So after 24 hours, you're gonna have your disc, and you're gonna have the paper on it, and remember the image is under there, and you're gonna start to rub away the paper. And this is, I saved all my shavings to show you guys. So the paper is just gonna turn into this curly pulp, and it's gonna make a huge mess. So keep your broom handy. It will make a mess. And I have a sponge, and I put a lid on my water so I wouldn't spill it. So I've just got a little bit of water, and you want to dampen a sponge. So I'm gonna remove almost all the water. You don't want to have it like too drippy.
This is my favorite part. This is the favorite part of the reveal.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna seal this water back up because I got a lot of stuff going on over here. So you're just gonna tap it onto, I usually just like let the sponge sit there for a minute, and I wait, I don't know, like about 1 minute here, and then I move it over here. You can't hurt it. You don't want to have too much water. You don't want to saturate it. This is, you know, if I squeeze it, no water's coming out. So it's just damp. And you're going to dampen it. And this step you're going to do several times, okay? No water, I mean, no soaps, just water. You're going to do this several times, because each time it's going to start, let's see, I might need a tiny bit more water.
Yeah, it looks like it looks a little dry.
A little bit more.
There we go.
Yeah, normally I let the sponge kind of sit on it, but for time, I'm gonna really just sort of give it a pressure.
Sandy says it's magic. Yes, it is, Sandy.
It's gonna be. So you're gonna start.
Yeah, here we go. Here we go is it.
So I wanna see if you can see. There we go. You can start to see the paper is going to rub away. And I'm not gonna be strong enough to do it up here. So I'm gonna put it back down here, but I'll hold it back up in a second. You're gonna rub away. And again, it just creates more of a vintage look.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I was saying. There's no gloss on this, you guys. It's just a matte finish. Again, this is the photo transfer coming through while the paper is removed. So it's a matte finish, not a gloss.
If you have a laser printer at home, you can use that. If you have a color or black and white laser printer that uses the cartridges, the toner cartridges, not the little liquid ink ones, not inkjet, you can use that. Or your image.
It's done when the paper is all off of it. And you're gonna know that by visually looking at it. When it dries, they'll still show a little bit more paper. You just go over it again, a soft rub with the wet sponge until you get all that paper off, and then your image is complete. So that's awesome. That's great. That's so cool. Yeah, it's neat stuff, you guys. Again, it's called photo transfer for those of you just joining.
Now the finished one that I did this rubbing technique about, I would say 6 times. I was joking with Steve that prepping out all these projects, I got muscles I didn't even know existed on my arm because we made a lot. But yeah, you'll do it about 6 times. And I'm not applying a lot of pressure. There's a couple of tips I want to tell you. Don't get it too wet. This is just damp. It's not wet. And you don't need like heavy elbow grease. I'm not even really putting much pressure on this at all. And I like to go in a circular motion. I feel like that, if you can see, circular, I'm getting that first chunky layer of paper off very quickly. And again, that's why you want to use lightweight. Go ahead, Steve.
Can you use gloss Mod Podge? Can you use gloss Mod Podge to seal it? Somebody is asking.
Yeah, gloss or satin. You don't need to seal it, but if you wanted to add a finish, you could do that.
You just make sure that it's dry though. After this process, you want to leave it alone for, I would do another 24 hours until it's dry before you add that gloss Mod Podge on top of it.
So you can see here that almost the first layer is gone. When this dries, after the first layer is gone, it's actually, okay, this is going to be a little bit confusing. It's going to dry and you're going to see another layer of paper appear. You're going to think, oh, look, I'm almost done. And then you're going to walk away for a half hour. And when you come back, it's going to look like this. And you're going to think that you did something wrong, but you didn't. You just have to repeat this step a few times. You just have to do this a few times. And that's why I made these step outs, because I really wanted to be able to show you that a lot of times people will email a picture and it will look like this and they'll say, I did what I was supposed to do. And then I'll tell them, you gotta just do that a few more times, because it will, this was 6 times and it ends up looking like that. But it goes very quickly. Again, what I like to do, let me get a little bit more.
Yes, you can leave it for more than 24 hours. You just cannot leave it for less than 24 hours. So 24 hours is the least amount of dry time after you apply the photo transfer. You want to let it dry for 24 hours. It could be 24, 28, 32, 48 hours, just nothing less than 24 hours.
And somebody is asking about, you're doing it multiple times because you're doing it light, and that's correct. And I really want to stress that. I'm not pushing down. I'm not being aggressive. I'm not even putting muscle into it. You know, I'm just rolling the wet, damp sponge onto it. So the most important.
If you take all the layers off of it, then you're going to get a coat of the paper still on it. is what's going to happen. So Cathie's working on that one. Is that you? That's the second layer, correct, Cath?
This is the second layer.
That's the second layer. So if you saw what it looked like before, that's what it would look like. It would be a haze of paper on top of it.
So that's another round. And then I just want to show you, I made you one more. This is what it's going to look like when you're almost finished. So when you're almost finished for your last time, it's going to usually in the center, most of the time, you will have done a really good job of getting all that paper off of there. But then you will have a haze. I'm trying to see if you can see that haze.
Oh, yeah, we can see it right there by the yellow road, Cathie.
Yeah. So that's the very last bit there. Okay, wax on. Somebody wrote wax on, wax off. I was joking with my husband last night. I was like, this is wax on, wax off.
No, you don't have to wait 24 hours between each time. You just have to wait till it dries a little bit, and you're going to be able to see that happen. The 24 hours is only once the photo transfer goes, your very first time you're putting it on your surface. After that, you're going to rub after 24 hours, you can rub your first layer off, let it sit for, you know, sometimes it's just 20 minutes.
Yeah, not very long.
You'll see that paper. When it's drying, you'll see the paper come to the surface again because it's drying. And then you just continue until all the paper's off.
Remember how I said it was going to be messy? So be prepared. So that is with all the layers off now. And it's a little bit wet, you know, damp. So you just want to let it dry. And someone's asking about the edge. So with the edges, on this one here, this is our finished one, we added gold paint around it. On these unusual surfaces, you know, a lot of times people paint or add a little something like that. So this is just the Craft Smart gold paint like this, metallic paint, but you could use brown, you could use any color that you want. Now on other surfaces, like this bridal one that we didn't do any painting. In fact, I did a little bit of sanding. I don't know if you can see there. I just used a little bit of sandpaper to rough it up because we were, you know, going for a little bit more of that look. I love this gold too. Somebody just said they love this gold. Yeah. This is a great.
Hey guys, whoever's joining up, I know some of you are just getting on. You can go to michaels.com/classes to see this from the beginning. Again, we're using the photo transfer medium. That's michaels.com/classes to see it from the beginning. Okay.
Someone's asking if it's harder to get it off canvas. You know, it kind of depends. I think it's about the same. I think the tricky part with like a canvas, like a staple back canvas, is you don't want to press too hard. Really on any of these, you don't want to press too hard because you don't want to burn through your transfer. If you're pressing really hard, you may end up burning a little hole in it. And so you really just want to use a very, very light hand. And then just go in and you can add, you know, gold or whatever you want to your design just to finish it off. And I want to show you some of
if you can layer pictures on top of the picture. So the paper on top of the paper. That's yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can do a collage if you'd like.
So, and the other thing is sometimes I've done collages where I've actually like, that would have been a good example to show you guys. You know, if you, let's say you have these pictures here, you can collage them all onto a sheet and then color copy your collage. So that's, you know, you can create your own paper that way. So let's quickly just review some of the ways that we can finish them off. So this is the baby box. So this one we just painted with the silver. And this one we painted with white paint to kind of make like a vintage Polaroid look, like the old Polaroid. No, you don't need to use a credit card. I would just use your hands to smooth the paper to the surface.
And yes, fabric dries the same. It's all 24 hours, guys.
And it is washable after the 24 hours. I do not put the things in the dryer, but I'm one of those people that barely dries any of my clothes. So I air dry them just because I feel like my dryer crunches everything up. On this one, we did this bride picture, and here we added regular Mod Podge onto the bottom of the canvas and sprinkled sand there, and then just glued some shells to it. So you can really layer these up, you know, tons of different ways, however you want. If you want to do something that's a little bit more modern, you can do something like this. And here we just painted with some FolkArt. This is that fire coral color, so pretty. But I left it plain like this because I wanted to show you that here then if you had some stickers or you had something from like a Cricut machine and you wanted to put, you know, Yosemite or wherever you went, you can do that as well. And that's a really fun way to make some art for your house or gifts if you've gone on a trip with somebody or something like that. The candle, someone was asking about the candle. So look, I'm gonna show you guys. You guys probably can't see, but that's my dad right up there. So for the candle, it's the same thing. We just put it on the outside of the candle so it works on wax. Again, this is just a decorative candle. If you want to do something that you light, you would want to do this on glass on a hurricane, or you could do it on a flameless candle, one that operates on a battery. And then we also did a family photo just on a little tiny disc. That is my husband's parents. And that's just a wood disc that we painted. So these can become magnets, or you can add a bail to it and do photo pendants or do little tiny ones, that kind of thing, or charms. Okay, let's move into fabric world. So I see lots of
you guys can do it on any fabric. You can do it on t-shirts, onesies. Cathie's going to show you how to do it on a tote bag. So all the fabric works exactly the same way as Cathie's going to show you on this. So you can put it on jeans, t-shirts, onesies, tote bags, any type of fabric. It's all going to work the same way.
So you do need to reverse. If you have text, someone's asking about reversing. If you have text in your photo, or if you're doing like, some people do like t-shirts for a reunion or for PTA or something like that, on the color copier at Kinko's or Staples or your local coffee shop, wherever you go, you will have to hit the reverse button on the machine and ask the employee to help you. Sometimes I get to the machine. I've been doing this for years. I go there, I'm like, wait a minute, where's the button? I don't even know how to do this. And I always just ask for help and they can do it for me right away. It's usually just hitting one button, mirror image, sometimes it's called, or reverse.
Yeah,
so
okay, really quickly, just to get, because people are asking almost the same question. The photo transfer works on fabrics, it works on wood, it works on tin, it works on glass, it works on acrylic, it works even on glass candles. Someone's asking if you can do this on your wall. The answer is yes, you can do it on your wall, which is interesting. I've never done that before, but yes, you can do it on your wall. So it works on almost any surface. Clay, someone's asking about like clay. I'm wondering if they're asking about maybe a terracotta pot or something. And yes, that would work. So
again, though, I would paint, like if it's a terracotta pot, I would paint it first. I would always, you can just, just use a simple acrylic paint. If you're using something that is more like terracotta, you may want to use more like a, either Craftsmart or FolkArt, the multi-surface paint, because that works on glass, terracotta, metals, things like that. You do not need to paint the fabric first, but I do recommend a lightweight, light colored fabric or light colored canvas. 100% cotton works the best. Like corduroys and textures like that, it's not going to work on. But if you have texture like in a canvas bag, that's totally fine. You just don't want a whole bunch of texture. And home chalk, it will work over chalk also. So this bag, I just want to show you quickly, instead of using a family photo, we color copied scrapbook paper and then cut out an initial, my initial for filling in F, And just quickly to make a monogram tote bag. This is really fun if you've got, you know, bridesmaids or that kind of thing, or teacher gifts, or anybody gifts really. This is just a simple way to do a monogram with, and it's no sew, you know, so just any scrapbook paper. And people are asking how long it stays on. It stays on a very, very long time. You can machine wash it. I personally do not dry it in the machine, although you can, but I'm just that type of person. I just don't dry very much in the machine. So let's show you guys. I've made some step outs the same way I did the wood pieces, so you can see the different steps. So let's go ahead and just do that. It's very easy. For this tote bag, I'm on Instagram. I love Instagram. These bags are from Michael's. I think they were about $3.99 a piece. And they're canvas and they're light colored. And so that's what you're looking for. I went ahead and made my pictures square because I wanted them to look like Instagram photos. And if your photos are not square, let's see, what do we have here? Well, here, like let's say we had this picture, then all you would want to do is just go in and cut the square to highlight what part of the image you wanted. I edited these pictures in on the computer and just made them all the same square shape. As you can see, my kids really like to wear glasses. Silly gooses. So I've got my 4 pictures. These are not real photographs. These are my color copies of my photographs, not inkjet. And I'll just lay them out like so. And let me make sure I have everything here where you guys can see it. So it's the same technique as, oh, I will show you guys this, look. I don't know if you guys can see that. See where that white is there? That will transfer as white. So go in and check your pictures and make sure you have them trimmed up good, because whatever is there will transfer. So just trim them up, give them a look.
We got a lot of new people on, so really quickly, I just want to let everybody know that if you haven't commented yet, comment, just tell us where you're from, say hello, because we're going to be doing a random drawing for one person for a bunch of Mod Podge products from Plaid, and they give good baskets. So make sure that you say hello, because it's going to be a random drawing. We're also using photo transfer. Cathie's going to be right now showing you how to do it on a tote bag on fabric. So, and also really quickly, if you guys who's just tuning in, if you want to see this from the beginning, just go to michaels.com/classes from the beginning. michaels.com/classes. And this is the photo transfer medium class. And we have other classes too. We have 3 other ones, so check those out also. And this one will be on tomorrow, yeah.
And remember, this is not regular Mod Podge. This is not the glue and the sealer. This is the photo transfer one. I know for people who've been with us for the beginning, you're probably sick of us saying that, but for the people who are joining us, it is a little bit confusing.
Oh, we got New Jersey, we got Delaware on, we have Virginia, yes. Hello, everybody.
Love it.
Brooklyn, yes, Brooklyn. California, of course, that's Florida. Okay. Go ahead, Gath, sorry.
So, no, it's great. I love Ohio. I went to Ohio State. Hi, Ohio. Okay, so now, again, just like we did on the wood.
India, Italy, parlo italiano. Ciao.
We want to make sure we get all the edges, okay? And it's thick. If you see any of your picture coming through, like, let me just show you. Let's see. Can you guys see there? I have picture coming through. That's not thick enough. That's not thick enough there. So you need to be able to not see any of the picture at all. So
we do Friday classes, guys. This is our 4th one. We have another one next Friday. We do not do Saturday and Sunday, but Michael's does. So you want to make sure you just go to michaels.com/classes to see all their different classes that they're doing. Our classes are on Fridays at 1 o'clock. And we've done 3 other ones, so you can check michaels.com/classes to see our previous ones.
So I'm gonna go ahead and just put down, again, all this photo transfer, but making sure that I get all the edges and that they can't see any of my picture coming through. Whoop. And if you can see there, like where I put my hand in it, you definitely want to go over that. And then I just like to kind of smooth out my brush strokes, just like so.
Yes, the fabrics can go in the washing machines on delicate. And then we air dry is the best way to do it.
I prefer it. Okay,
Yeah.
so now again, we want to just barely touch the edges because you don't want to wipe away any of that photo transfer medium. Okay, and now we will just, I like to line it up just with the handle and press in the center and all the way to the edges. And make sure you go around and get those edges down because you need that really good seal. Now I have a little bit of the formula there from where my paper moved. So I'm just gonna baby wipe that. I'm gonna baby wipe it towards my image because the photo transfer, if it gets onto the canvas, it will make a little mark and we do not want that. So you try your best. If it does get on there, it'll just be a little tiny bit, and if it did, like let's say it got a little bit here, I would just go in and rub that away.
Thank you, Sandy.
And you don't want any bubbles. You don't want any air bubbles, so start in the center and smooth it down just like so. And now we're ready to put our second one in. Just barely grabbing it from the edges.
No, the photo transfer does not have a strong smell. It's, I'm gonna smell it right now because it's been a while. It's been since yesterday. It's mild. It's almost, yeah, it's not strong at all. It's
No.
a different smell, but it's not strong at all. And remember, this is all water-based, non-toxic, great for the kids. Soap and water washing as far as your brushes go, or if you get it on your clothes. So it's, you know, non-toxic, which is great. Made in America, which we love.
Okay.
Can I transfer onto stone or rock? Yes, you absolutely can transfer onto smooth stone. Yes.
We actually, last year, was it last year or 2 years ago? I can't remember. We did a video, we transferred onto leather. We transferred onto just about anything that we could transfer onto.
Yeah, and it's great. If you guys want to try, there's a 2-ounce bottle that comes with a brush. Stace, come on over maybe really quickly to me while Cathie finishes that up. I want to show the bottle of the photo transfer for those people that are just joining. This is the bottle. This is the 8-ounce bottle. It also comes with a 2-ounce bottle, which is a smaller bottle that you guys might want to practice on or try and see if you like it. But this is the 8-ounce bottle, and this is what it looks like. Again, this is not Mod Podge. It's a completely different formula. This is under the Mod Podge brand, but this is called Photo Transfer Medium. So if you want to experiment, a 2-ounce bottle, or it goes a long way. As you can see how Cathie's brushing this on. You can do a lot of different projects with just this 8-ounce bottle or the 2-ounce bottle.
Well, I do want to say, if you saw all the bags that I stepped out, all the different wood discs and the projects, all of those I didn't even use half a bottle for. So, you know, a little bit does go a long way.
It really does.
Okay, and I did not get enough on this picture. Let's go ahead and add a little bit more.
With the 2-ounce bottle, how much photo transfer do you need to do a canvas bag? Oh, I mean,
it's probably about,
the 2-ounce bottle is going to do a bunch of bags. So, you know, it's definitely going to do more than one bag for sure.
Now, one other thing I want to talk about is kind of holding your picture up to the light because you are working on the reverse side. So sometimes it's a little bit hard to tell. So just hold it up and make sure you're putting it in the proper direction. I have been doing this a long time, and I have several times put them on upside down or sideways. So I've learned the hard way to always check.
Practice makes perfect.
So you're just gonna go in again from the center out, go around, make sure all your edges are down. And then this is what you don't wanna hear. You guys gotta wait 24 hours again, I'm sorry. 24 hours later, you're gonna have this all dried and ready to go.
Really quickly, you guys can, yes, you can wait more than 24 hours. You cannot do it less than 24. You can do 28, 32, 3 days from then. You just cannot wait. You cannot start the second process anytime earlier than 24 hours.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, some of
Adrian
these.
says 24 hours again. Yeah, sorry.
Well, this is for a new project. So.
Right. But it's still 24 hours no matter what project you're doing.
So if it's wood or fabric, it doesn't matter.
Yes.
Yes, wet side down. Okay, so now let's start. This one's been drying, okay?
There's your step out.
It's gonna be this one dried for 24 hours. I made this yesterday. Yeah. Actually, the day before. So this is dried for 48 hours.
There you go.
Okay, so let's
Great project to do with the grandkids. Yes, this is a wonderful project to do with kids. It's water-based, non-toxic. So kids can absolutely do this project. It's fun. So
it's the same process as before. Well, you know what? I've got to cover my water. I am gonna knock this over. We're gonna have a disaster. So I'm just gonna start. I got it damp. If you didn't join us, if you weren't here before, I cannot squeeze water out of my sponge. It's just damp. So the two most important things is do not use too much water and don't push too hard. You don't want to burn through your image. You're just trying to get it off in layers. So this step right now that I'm doing, to do it properly, you know, I think you really have to do it about 5 to 6 times, but it goes quickly. You just rub that away and then let it dry for about 20 minutes.
Yes, that's why the thin paper is the best. Absolutely.
So I'm gonna hold that up so you can see it's starting to, you know, really get some of that first layer off. And once it's pretty damp, you'll see like some big chunks kind of melt away. And then you know you've got that first big thick layer down. When you're at the coffee shop, you do not need photo paper. You do not want to use photo paper. You want to use the thinnest paper possible because you see now that you're going to be, you know, doing this step to get rid of that paper. So if you had thick paper, it would be a lot harder to remove it. So you want the thinnest paper, not glossy, just the cheap old paper.
Yes, someone's asking, yes, this is laser printer. So if you have a laser printer at home, you can absolutely download something from the computer like you were asking and print that out. Now remember, this doesn't just have to be pictures, guys. You can do any type of graphic. So it's any image at all that you want. It could be something abstract that you might want to put on a tote bag or an art project. It works the same way.
Well, and
anything that you can copy or print out with the laser printer will work.
So one of the things that I did last year was I took my children's artwork and I color copied it, and then I put it on tote bags for their grandmas, and they absolutely loved it. So, you know, you can make your own art collage. If you have a fundraiser or you have an event that you want to make a custom shirt, you can just do something in Word or any kind of a word processing program and print it and then color copy it. You still got to copy it unless you own a laser printer. Remember, you do have to reverse text, okay? You have to reverse the text because you see we're putting it upside down. So if you didn't do that, once you reveal your paper, it would all be backwards. We did some PTA shirts.
The phone went out again, Cath.
Huh?
Your iPhone, the overhead. Okay, this is a good time for, oh, there you go.
Is it back?
Nope, okay. So let me show you guys really quickly, if any of you have joined, while Cathie fixed her overhead. This is photo transfer right here. This works with laser printer. Any image that you can print out with a laser printer, you can put on top of fabric, you can put on top of wood, tin, glass, acrylic, and it's just using printouts with thin paper, thin standard paper. So you can do black and white, you can do color pictures, and whatever image that you have, you can put on top of a surface using photo transfer. You're back on, Cath. Okay, let's go back to Cathie.
Okay, sorry guys. I don't know what it is. So I don't know if you guys were here earlier, but this is the mess from yesterday. So it will be messy when you are rolling off this paper. But
yeah, now Cathie's, the difference between me and Cathie is she calls that messy. I call that a normal day. I'm the messy one of the two, for sure.
I must have swept like 10 times yesterday. I was like looking down like, oh my God, there's stuff all over the floor again. So,
this class is awesome. Thank you,
Charlie.
Thank
you. So for those of you who didn't see the wood part, so this is the first layer that's down, that's off, okay? And again, it looks like you're done because it's still kind of damp and you think, oh look, my whole picture is revealed. But once that dries, it's actually gonna look something like this. And you're gonna see that you still have a ton of paper on there. So you will have to do this step, like, and I wanted to show you here. See, this is just the beginning. You can just see little parts. So you're gonna be getting all that paper off of there. This is after one thorough cleaning.
Yeah.
So then again, you'll go back in and you will know when you're done because you won't have any of this fuzz. You won't have any of the pulp. You see that pulp there? And we get questions all the time where they'll send a picture and say, I did it, but it didn't turn out. And I always say to them, well, you didn't finish it. You got to get it wet again, and you've got to just keep removing that pulp. And it really honestly does not take very long, but you just have to let it dry in between. Don't try to get it completely saturated. Don't try to do it all too much at once because you will end up burning a little hole in it. So you just
you guys can put a Mod Podge gloss on top of it if you wanted a shiny look. You'd have to wait until your project is completely done and dry. So once you're done with it, you have to set that aside and let it dry completely before you can put the gloss on top of it.
And you really have to make sure too that it's completely pulp free because, well, like this one here I just did. Yeah, that pulp will be sealed then forever if you put something over it. You will never be able to clean that up.
It'll be locked in. Great direction. Thank you guys. Yes, you can wash them on, I would wash them on a delicate and let air dry. So don't put these in the dryer because the dryer can do damage to them. Just let them air dry. It doesn't take long, and yeah, they last a very long time.
Okay, let's move on and show our finished bag. I got stuff flying all over it. So that is when they're all finished and you're ready to carry your bag with pride. These are amazing. No sealings required. It's sealed, it's ready to go, it's all stuck down, you know, very, very, I mean, I could carry it right now. There's nothing to dry now. The most important things, again, wait that 24 hours before you start removing the paper. Don't use a super wet sponge, use a damp sponge, and do that rubbing technique 4 or 5 times.
Yes, and if you guys have any trouble remembering any of this, please go to michaels.com/classes. This is going to be aired tomorrow. So that's michaels.com/classes if you have missed anything.
Yeah, someone's saying pics of the grandkids, right? So you can do, I've made something like this. I made pillows for people in the family before with these. If you have kids that do sports teams or cheer teams or band or science camp, these are really fun just for one-off events, or if you're doing fundraising and you want to do something and put a school logo on it and then fill it up with a bunch of stuff for a raffle. You can really customize these to so many different ways.
Hey,
if you don't want to use photos.
Let's see some of the other projects that were done earlier.
Yes, yes. So we have the tote bag with the family photos. If you want to do a monogram, this is scrapbook paper that we color copied. Again, you still have to color copy it, okay? So we've got that and that. This is our highway art. Okay, this is on one of these cool wood discs. So it's really cool if you've got some photos that you traveled with. And again, it creates that real matte finish, almost looks like a vintage photo. Here's another really cool travel photo. Now this one, we did here and then painted on the bottom with some of this fire coral paint. Now this we left blank because we wanted to show you that this is a place where you could journal in maybe where you went, or add some, if you've got the Cricut machine and put something there. You know, you can really just customize these however you want. You could add nail studs here, you could add ribbon, it's endless. Then we have our beautiful bride on the beach. And for this one, we did the photo transfer. We did a little sanding and roughing up of the edges there. It's kind of hard to see, it was just a little bit. Then we added gloss Mod Podge here and sprinkled sand on top of it. And we're gonna be actually, next week's class, we're gonna be talking a lot about sand and Mod Podge and that kind of stuff. And then we just glued those shells down. So it's a really fun, you know, just if you've got a photo from a special occasion, you can really create some fun artwork with it. And then here is our really cute baby trinket box. This is just a box from Michael's, and you can see it's got a clasp. So this is fun. You know, you always get like jewelry, baby teeth, first haircut, bracelets, that kind of stuff. You can put all those fun little papers in there. This one, we put our image here. When we took it to the copy shop, we did this on the black and white setting. So you can take a color photo and make it black and white if you want that kind of look. And then we just painted around it to create kind of like a vintage Polaroid look. Just kind of a different, you know, just a different way to do it. And that is, that's just a box surface from Michael's. They've got so many surfaces, so it's really endless. You can pick, you know, so many different ones. So that's how you transfer.
Okay, guys, that's photo transfer really quick. Let me show you the bottle again. Some people are already starting to do the project that I'm seeing. A lot of people are saying, great class. Listen, guys, we really appreciate everything. Thank you guys for coming. I just want to let you guys know that next Friday, we are going to be doing Mod Podge with tissue paper. It's a beach-inspired art project. So that's what we're doing next Friday. Also, really quickly, I know Stacy has left, Cath, so we don't have her. But if you've missed any of this, go to michaels.com/classes so you can see our other classes, and this one will be aired tomorrow. Also, we're going to be doing a random picking right now. If any of you have not gone into the chat room yet, please tell us where you're from. Say hello so you can, we're going to be doing a giveaway. Plaid's going to be giving some Mod Podge products. So jump on in really quickly. There we go. There's Mod Podge. There's the bottle. That's the photo transfer. Again, next week we are doing Mod Podge, tissue paper, beach art. So a lot of blues and kind of beachy artwork. That was photo transfer. Let's see. And again, really quickly, michaels.com/classes. You can see this from the beginning, photo transfer. Okay. Cathie, do you want to do the choosing today?
Yeah, but before that, I just want to show you guys a couple of things. Is there any way to go back to, there we go. Thank you.
Perfect.
So I just want to show you a couple of things that's going to be for next week's class. So next week, we're going to be working with tissue paper and Mod Podge and sand. And we're going to be doing some fun letter makeovers. We're going to be creating this cool beachy art. That is not paint. That's all done with tissue paper. Very, very cool technique. We're going to be doing some really cool tissue paper and rock art. These are some recycled bottle lamps. There we go. So these are all done with tissue paper layered up. And then we've got another kind of candle.
Huh?
Huh?
Can we see the tissue paper art really quickly?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
My workstation is quite messy.
There we go. Okay.
So that's all done with layers and layers of tissue paper. It's just blue tissue paper. That's it, guys. So simple, right? I think the link for that class will probably be up in the next couple of days or later today. This is another project with sand. These are those battery candles. So we're going to be doing tissue paper and sand on those. I think someone was asking about the bottle lamp. So here's the bottle lamp. And then we also have these really cool, this is with Mod Podge Sparkle. So these are just some, these hold battery lights. And you can get a really cool, just recycled jar type things. And we've got one more fun thing to show you. I don't know if you guys seen at the Michael's party section, but they've got these cute confetti polka dots. So we're making over some outdoor lighting and stuff like that. So it's all tissue paper and all Mod Podge for next week.
And it's all next Friday. So tune in next Friday for that.
I got a lot of projects on the table.
That's okay.
So who's going to pick? Steve, are you picking or you want me to give it a scroll?
Give it a scroll, Cath.
Okay, guys. I'm going to just scroll through the chat and land on someone.
Remember, there's
Kimberly Dalton.
Kimberly Dalton, are you here?
Are you here? Kimberly Dalton, are you still here?
Give her a few minutes there because it takes time.
Kimberly Dalton, say hello if you're here. Kimberly Dalton, are you here?
Oh no, she might have left.
Well, we might have to roll again. If you do win, if your name is called, Steve, did you tell him to?
Yes, if your name is called, you have to go to Plaid's Facebook and message Plaid and tell them that you are the winner of Cathie and Steve's Michael's Zoom class and that you want the big old gift of prizes. Plaid is really good with they'll give you a ton, and photo transfer will be in that. So, plus a bunch of other Mod Podge
let's see,
products, brushes, and other Mod Podges. So they give really great ones. I don't think Kimberly's here.
She's here. Okay, try again. Someone's saying try again. Okay, here we go. Ready? We're gonna roll the dice. Oh, let's see, rolling. Wow, it just keeps rolling.
Hold on. I'm gonna stop it and.
Zoe Coleman. Zoe Coleman.
Zoe Coleman. Is Zoe here?
Zoe Coleman! She's here.
Okay, Zoe, you got to contact Plaid Crafts on Facebook. Message them and tell them you won Cathie and Steve's Zoom class for Michael's. Yay, Zoe. Congrats, Zoe. Okay. Hey, guys, thank you so much for joining. Come back next Friday. See our Mod Podge tissue paper beach theme. We're so happy that you guys come to our classes. We love doing them. That was our 4th one. Next Friday will be our 5th. And we want to thank Michael's, as always, our place to go to get all our products. Everything you've seen today, you can get at Michael's. So go check it out. And don't forget michaels.com/classes to see this class over. And you can see our other classes also. So thank you guys very much. Hope to see you next Friday. And keep crafting. See you guys.
Bye, guys. Thank you.